Praise be Jesus Christ. In the last year or so, the media has made very well known a number of sacrilegious Holy Communions. These are instances when a politician who is openly and actively and aggressively promoting and pushing abortion goes and receives Holy Communion, isn't denied Holy Communion, and members of the hierarchy say, yup, we have no problem with that. Now this of course causes an outrage among all the faithful, but especially the faithful priests and bishops. Oh, that makes us mad. Not impressed at all. Now, let's start by reading from Scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, St. Paul says, after he explains the institution of the Eucharist, he says, therefore, whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord unworthily will have to answer for the body and blood of the Lord. A person should examine himself and so eat the bread and drink the cup. For anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body eats and drinks judgment on himself. And Paul goes on. Now, I want to share with you a Eucharistic miracle. The recent Eucharistic miracles are the most impressive because the scientific, the medical documentation and verification is rock solid. You can look at the medical reports of the doctors, and you can speak to the doctors. They're still alive. They can still testify to these recent Eucharistic miracles. But there's also Eucharistic miracles that happened a long time ago that have been approved by the church. And one example is the Eucharistic miracle of Middelburg in Belgium. That happened in 1374. There was a noblewoman who hired a new member for her staff, her household staff, and this young man hadn't been to confession in years. And this noblewoman was a devout, pious soul, and so during Lent she would encourage the whole household to fast, and she would invite the household to go to Mass together. And this newly hired member of the staff didn't want to look bad, so he went to Mass. And not only did he go to Mass, he went forward to receive Holy Communion, even though he'd been living a dissolute life and was in a state of mortal sin. And when he received the Holy Eucharist on his tongue, it says, as soon as he received the host on his tongue, it changed into bleeding flesh. At once, John, that was his name, took the host from his mouth. Blood dripped from the sacred flesh onto the cloth covering the altar rail. So the sacred host took on the visible appearance of flesh. It was beginning to ooze blood, and the priest noticed this, and he very emotionally and reverently took the consecrated bleeding host and placed it in the tabernacle. And it says, and this is beautiful, from that day on, John led an exemplary life and demonstrated great devotion to the most blessed sacrament to the end of his life. And this is the greatest miracle, when a heart is converted. And so let us once again renew our devotion, our belief in the Holy Eucharist, and also our commitment to receive the Lord in a state of grace. Viva Christore!